This is TF2's golden frying pan, worth around $7,000, and there exists a player out there insane enough to delete his twice. Although 2 deleted pans is nothing in comparison to what some of these other TF2 players have done. So let's start the story of one of the game's most hated traders, a player named Ao. Just like any rich collector, Ao owns many of TF2's most expensive unusuals. Included among them are 11 out of the 18 unusual potassium bonnets known to exist in public backpacks, one of the very few glitch coffin kit unusuals that exists, and in general, just an insanely expensive collection of unusual miscs. And the thing about all of these items is that they are untradeable, which should be impossible. Normally, in TF2, there are only 2 ways to obtain untradeable items. The obvious method is items granted by the game itself, with the most common sources being achievements and stocking stuffers. These untradeable grant items are the basis for the second method of obtaining untradeable items, which is crafting. The majority of grant items are weapons, and these weapons can be used to make untradeable medals and untradeable killstreak kits. These medals and killstreak kits could then be used to make a variety of untradeable items within TF2, but not included in this list are the vast majority of unusual items in the game, as they can't be crafted in the fabricate headgear recipes. Killstreak kits are additionally exclusive to weapons, and only weapons. So how did Ao make his god tier unusual hats untradeable? Well, I kind of lied, because he did use killstreak kits, just glitch universal ones. When the gunmetal update released in 2015, killstreak fabricators are one of the many items that the update broke. Upon completion of any 2 cities mission, there was a good chance that one of the unassigned killstreak fabricators would drop. With this unassigned fabricator, Ao could then input all the ingredients necessary to turn it into a kit. However, instead of just using any regular killstreak weapon, he would apply a killstreak kit to one of his untradeable weapons, then use said weapon for the fabricator recipe, creating an untradeable universal killstreak kit. Then the final step, apply the kit onto whatever you wanted. So not only are the hats he made untradeable worth thousands of dollars, but all those glitch killstreak fabricators cost him a lot of money too. The glitch killstreak fabricators are relatively inexpensive upon their debut on July 2nd, 2015. However, they were patched out less than 2 days later, forever capping the supply. So fast forward to when Ao started his journey, and the price for the specialized versions had since soared. Though I do not know when he bought the fabricators, so he may have just hoarded a bunch of them while they were still cheap. His inventory is additionally impossible to value, as the vast majority of his unusuals are one-of-one hats with little documented sale history. But it is very safe to say it exceeds the 6-figure mark. Hundreds of thousands, gone like that. And in the case of his unusual miscs like his Time Warp antlers, he owns the only 2 in existence, meaning nobody will ever be able to get their hands on one again. On his profile, we get a hint to his reasoning. Quote, "This is my only account, and it will forever be my only account." From what his review on TF2 says, it seems he holds a deep appreciation for the game and is content with locking items he deems as sentimental to his backpack. And going off of the comments on his profile, it is safe to say he is one of the most polarizing players in the TF2 community. On the plus side, it's pretty much useless to hack his account since you can't even trade the valuables out, so it definitely helps in keeping a low profile. And keeping a low profile is motivation for Oricon 5 to delete his golden pan. This story is already very well known thanks to a viral video that was posted a while back, so I'll keep it brief. He was one of the lucky few to score a golden pan from an MVM tour. As a result, he got tons of attention, so he deleted it from his inventory. Unknown to everyone at the time, deleting a pan broadcasted a message to everyone playing that you did it. In his words, "I was tired of all the attention, but it seems I've accelerated it." He still gets hate to this day, but he seems to relish in the publicity. But at least Oricon was nowhere near as stupid as Paris, who got scammed for his first ever unusual unbox in the dumbest way possible back when he was 10 years old. Pretty fitting that it was an unusual gibbous, so please, hit the subscribe button to pay your condolences. Despite that blunder, there are still traders out there who could even top my stupidity, so let's talk about Mr. Pan. Mr. Pan is one of TF2's most infamous dupers, but for a while, he was just a standard trusted high tier collector. He was briefly marked as a scammer in late 2015 for the reason of trading with another scammer, so he drafted one hell of a ban appeal to get it lifted. Yes, myself, I trading with a marked scammer. Myself, I love to collect god item, and when I have it, I no longer sell or trade them to any more. This is my words. If I get unbanned and the god item, like duplicate burning TC trading away, forever ban is okay for me. And just like that, his ban was lifted. Despite saying he would never sell it, he did just a month later. But it seems like the team captain withdrawals hit hard as just 4 days later, he bought another one. This time, one of the very few clean ones that exists. 2 weeks later, he sold the clean team captain, and this is where things begin to get weird. On February 28th, 2016, Mr. Pan randomly acquired 2 Burning Flames team captains, both of them level 3. If you didn't know, the level 3 team captain is a hat that has been duped to high hell. 1 day later, and I just entirely lose the plot. One of the 3 team captains he acquired left his inventory to somewhere unknown, and in its place, 3 Burning Flames killer exclusives came up in his inventory. Word on the street is that he gift-a-pulted them, but it's hard to know as their history is entirely lost. The very next day, he got rid of and then acquired another Burning team captain. Finally, on March 5th, his Steam account was trade banned, leading Mr. Pan to do this.
Who the heck would destroy their own golden frying pan? That's worth $5,000, one of the most expensive Team Fortress.
And if that wasn't enough item waste, Mr. Pan even has a trade banned alt account. And you guessed it, there is another Burning team captain in this one. Likely one that he has duped and gifted between his alt accounts to hide it from item trackers. These escapades truly make Mr. Pan one of TF2's greatest item criminals. But if deleting just 1 golden pan wasn't enough, then what about the player that deleted 2? This might just hold the title of the most ridiculous waste of money in TF2 history. On July 28th, 2024, yet another golden pan was sacrificed to the attention gods. The incident was huge news for Reddit Nation and the unemployed, performing well enough to make it to the top 25 of r/all, Reddit's front page for those of you who actually go outside. It was pretty funny trying to see people explain what a high tour is to an average Redditor. I don't want to go into too much detail, but the story was essentially an intoxicated meltdown with a bit of harassment sprinkled in, pushing said player to delete their pan. As is typical with the ritual that is deleting $7,000 golden pixels, comments flooded his profile ranging from applause to confusion and some dissent. But unlike any other instance of pan deletion before, this golden pan was restored to their inventory less than a day later. It turns out that the player had contacted Valve and they made a very rare exception to their strict policy of no item replacement. From there, things seemed normal and the drama died down. Until just over a year later on August 12th of this year, the same exact thing with the same player happened. The unemployed were once again mobilized in full force, and this time it was enough to even get mainstream gaming news outlets to report on it. Just like with the average Redditors last year, it seems they couldn't even do enough research to realize that Oricom is not the same guy as a 2-time pan deleting champion. The reasoning seems to be related to last time, and luckily his profile was locked down so harassment comments wouldn't flood it. To this day, the pan is still gone and will likely never be restored, but looking on the bright side, his noble sacrifice does ever so slightly bump the value of every other pan in existence, so there's that. Last up is an honorable mention to the many VAC banned inventories. One of the only 4 Poison Shadow Antlers that currently exist sits in a trade banned inventory, which is quite intriguing for one of TF2's most iconic hats, but that about wraps it up. Subscribe and check out the other videos on your screen now.